I'm writing this from a hospital room. My little boy is fine now, but that thing could have killed him. Let me start at the beginning. For the past 2 weeks, something has been haunting my son. It could have started earlier than that, but that was the first time I noticed it. I will say that, strangely, this also coincides with when my son got a few stitches for a cut on his hand. He fell off the monkey bars. I'm not sure that's actually relevant to what's happening here, but I figured I'd mention it, in the off chance anyone has any ideas. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, that night as usual, I was putting my 6-year-old son Noah to sleep. Noah struggles to fall asleep, like a lot, so the bedtime routine is the same each night. I read stories and talk to him for about a half hour. Then I close the door and sit in the hallway, waiting for him to sleep. If I don't sit right outside his door, he comes out of the room and starts playing. If I stay with him in the room, he keeps talking and talking and talking. This seemed like a happy medium. After reading for about 20 minutes outside his door, it got quiet. I took the opportunity to go downstairs and clean up a bit. When I got back up, however, he wasn't asleep. I could hear him giggling, talking to himself. I couldn't make out individual words, but he definitely wasn't asleep. I angrily yanked the door open. "Noah?" I stopped. Noah was fast asleep, curled up in the fetal position under the covers. Huh? Now, this wasn't totally weird. Sometimes my son talks to himself right up to the moment he falls asleep. Sometimes he even babbles to himself in the middle of the night. So it was a little odd, but it didn't raise any red flags with me. Not yet, at least. In fact, I forgot all about it until the cabinet incident. Noah and his little sister Zoe have this game they play. I don't even remember how it started, but basically, one of them hides in the kitchen cabinet and pushes the door or drawer out a little bit, and they say they're a poltergeist. I was putting on dinner when I heard the drawer push open, the metallic rolling sound as it popped out. "Ooh, is it a poltergeist?" I said with a laugh. The drawer pulled shut. I set down the knife and walked over to the cabinet, crouching in front of it. Sometimes, I could see Noah's eyes in the gap between the counter and the drawer, staring back at me. I smiled and waited for the drawer to pop open. After a few seconds, it slowly rolled out on its hinges. I saw Noah's hand, curled around the top edge of the drawer in the darkness. As he pushed it open, "I see you," I cooed. I don't think that's really a poltergeist, but I didn't hear his laughter, didn't see his dark eyes looking back at me. The hand darted out of sight, and then, snap, the drawer closed, hard, as if he'd yanked it back with all his might. "Hey, don't do it so hard, you could smash your fingers." He didn't respond. "Noah?" Just then, footsteps sounded from behind me. "I'm hungry." I turned around. Noah was standing behind me, a foam Minecraft sword dangling from his hand. A second later, Zoe appeared, out of breath, holding a pickaxe. "I found you," she squealed, whacking him in the shoulder. I turned back to the cabinet, threw the door open. It was empty. I glanced from Noah to Zoe to the empty cabinet, the explanation clear, but my brain lagging 10 seconds behind. "Were you just in the cabinet?" I asked, but I knew there was no way he could be. No way he could have teleported from the cabinet to the kitchen behind me. "No?" he said. "Zoe?" "No, I wasn't." I stared at the empty cabinet. Someone was in there. I saw their hand. I saw their fucking hand. But it was impossible. And there was no way they could have escaped without me noticing. There was just one explanation then, that I'd imagined it. I decided to see a doctor. I had never had full-blown hallucinations before, but I'd had weird stuff in my vision sometimes, like seeing a sparkling bit of light, or patches of static from an old TV set. or thinking the hair in my eyes was a shadow person staring at me. I'd definitely gone down the Dr. Google rabbit hole a few times, looking up things like Charles Bonnet syndrome and visual snow syndrome. The doctor thought it was probably just the darkness and the fact that I expected to see a hand there. So he sent me on my way, not too concerned. I probably wouldn't have been too concerned either, except things continued to happen. At 2 a.m., I was woken up by the sound of hurried pattering footsteps, sounding exactly like Noah or Zoe running back and forth across the length of our house downstairs. I got out of bed and immediately checked on them. They were in their beds, fast asleep. I ran back in and woke my husband Dave. "There's someone out there," I whispered, my legs shaking. "I heard them downstairs." I locked myself in the kids' room, with my phone poised to dial 911, and Dave checked it out. But after turning on all the lights and checking every room and every nook and cranny, he told me nothing was there. Maybe one of them just got up to use the bathroom. "It was downstairs, Dave." "Well, I don't know, Carmen. I checked everywhere. No one's in here, and all the doors are locked." I didn't sleep until the first rays of dawn shone through the window. Over the next 10 days, it happened several more times. Me waking up to the sound of what was clearly children's footsteps, running back and forth downstairs, back and forth. A few times when I went down to check, I found the drawer of the poltergeist cabinet rolled out, and there were other weird things. In the morning, I kept finding the kids' nightlight on the floor, even though both of them are afraid of the dark and wouldn't unplug it. The clothes in the closet kept getting all shifted and rearranged, like someone was pushing the hangers back and forth, making gaps here and there in the hanging shirts like they were looking for something in particular. At that point in time, I'd figured the kids or Dave did it, but obviously, now I'm not so sure. And then there was the incident in the bedroom, 3 days ago. I was sitting out in the hallway as usual, waiting for Noah to fall asleep. Zoe was already fast asleep, but Noah was still talking to himself. I looked up from my phone, and I suddenly realized something. The muffled voice on the other side followed a pattern. It was a bunch of syllables, and then it raised in pitch, like Noah was asking a question, over and over again. The same question. Usually some babbling in his random Star Wars storylines and stuff like that. Not questions. I put my phone down and strained my ears to listen. Why have no? Those were the only 3 words I could make out. I twisted the knob, as silently as I could, and pushed the door open a crack. I heard Noah suck in a breath, and then ask the questions. "Why do you have no face?" My blood ran cold. I shot up and ran into the bathroom. "Who are you talking to?" I demanded, flicking on the light and sweeping the room. No one," he said, timidly. I could tell he was lying. I turned around, just in time to see the clothes hanging in the closet moving, like something had just disappeared within them. "Out, now!" I screamed, grabbing a sleeping Zoe and running out after Noah. Dave ran up to see what the commotion was. "Someone's in the closet," I screamed. "Someone's there." But no one was there. Dave searched and searched and searched. We even called the police at my insistence. No one found anything. I only had the courage to look in the closet myself when the kids were finally back asleep, and the entire house had been cleared by both Dave and the police. I walked up to the closet, phone flashlight in hand. My hand shook so much the white light trembled across the room, casting strange moving shadows, almost like a strobe light. After a deep breath, I flung open the closet doors. The hanging clothes had all been rearranged by the police and Dave. There were big gaps now, bearing the white wall underneath. I expected to see someone's legs in there maybe, poking out from the hems of the hanging shirts, but I didn't see anything. Just the kids' clothes and random junk that had overflown from our closets. Stuffed into wooden cubicles on the right were my boots, a couple scarves, and Dave's old Spirited Away costume from several Halloweens back. I quickly closed the doors, did a final check on the children, and went back to my room. It was only the next morning that I realized Dave's no-face costume was in our closet, not the kids'. The next day was when everything spiraled out of control. I was running on 2 hours of sleep, barely trying to keep it together, scrolling mindlessly through my phone. I walked into the kitchen to get a snack. When I noticed, the drawer was out. I glanced back. Through the hall, I could see Noah's leg poking out of the family room, his white sock and hem of his mud-stained jeans. I could hear him babbling on about something, so it wasn't him in there. And Zoe was at a friend's house, so it wasn't her either. It was this thing, haunting our family. The drawer pulled in, slowly, as if taunting me. If I hadn't been so sleep-deprived and desperate, I would have made better decisions, like taking Noah out for a drive or calling my husband. But I was sick of this thing taunting me, sick of living in a nightmare. I scrambled over and crouched in front of the cabinet. "Leave us," I growled. No response. By the power of God, by the power of Jesus Christ, leave us. If this thing were a demon, maybe that would scare it. A soft rustling noise came from the cabinet. "We'll get a priest to exorcise you out. Get out. Get out now." A pause. Then it spoke in his voice. "Mommy?" And something in me broke. How dare it? The shivers flitting down my spine broke out into hot rage. How dare it use my son's voice? How dare it? I grabbed the drawer handle and closed it with all my force. It collided with something on the other side. "Get out!" I screamed. "Get out and never come back!" I slammed the drawer again and again in a blind rage. "Carmen, what are you doing?" I stopped and glanced back to see Dave standing behind me, a look of horror on his face. And then the sound bloomed back into my ears, like I was coming up from being underwater. Someone was crying in the cabinet. Oh no, no, no. I opened the cabinet. My stomach fell to the floor. There was Noah, crying, clutching his head. "No, no, no." As Dave bent down and picked him up, I glanced back to the family room, just in time to see a white foot in a white sock, the hem of dirty jeans, dart out of sight. It tricked me. It fucking tricked me. I rushed to Noah in Dave's arms and began to cry. Noah is fine. I apparently only hit him once with the drawer, before he ducked down in the cabinet. But it could have been worse. Much, much worse. I don't know how much of this I can take. The thing, whatever it is, isn't just blindly haunting me. It's using a strategy, wearing me down with sleep deprivation until it can take advantage of me and trick me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get rid of it. And I don't want to hurt my son.